What's up, y'all? Alex back again. And for this video, I just want to share my love of Mass Effect. The Legendary Edition is about to come out, and I'm hyped for it. I've been watching all kinds of videos. I've been listening to the soundtrack. Been playing the multiplayer on the 360. I just want to talk about it. I just want to say something about it before the game comes out. And this is that video. Let's go back to the beginning and tell you my Mass Effect story, how I discovered Mass Effect. So back in 2007, I was a janitor at a shopping mall, and this mall had a GameStop in it. And from time to time, I would go in there. So one day, I'm in GameStop, and I'm talking with the guy in there, the guy behind the counter, and he's like, hey man, you gonna check out that Mass Effect game that's coming out? And I really heard nothing about it. He was like, oh man, oh, it's gonna be so awesome. And have you played Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic? I hadn't played it, but I lived with a friend who used to play that game, and it looked interesting. It looked pretty interesting, but I had never played it myself. Dude was like, oh man, it's gonna be awesome, you need to check it out, man. But he was just hyping it up, so he kind of put it in my mind. I was like, okay, but I still really wasn't like, oh, I gotta check this game out. Let's skip forward a little bit. One day I'm in my bedroom and I'm flipping through channels on the TV, and the Spike Video Game Awards were on. They had the award for Best RPG, and Mass Effect won. And I was like, that's that game that dude was talking about. So the game was already kind of in my mind, and then I just happened to turn to this, and this Beyond and Best RPG awarded to Mass Effect. Like okay. I remember my mother asked me like, hey, is there anything you be interested in for Christmas? Do you want anything? And I was like, let me see. There's this game called Mass Effect. Maybe you could get that for me. She hooks me up with Mass Effect. I put it in the 360, and BioWare logo and all that, and that main title screen pops up where it shows the planet and Mass Effect, and that music is playing. Right there, it was like I felt something, and I was like, I'm going to enjoy this game. I just know this is going to be a great game just from the title screen. I don't know what this is about. I don't know anything about this game. I just know that I'm going to like it. I played through that game and I was like, oh, that was so satisfying. There were so many things about the game that I enjoyed so much. The biggest part of the game that I really liked was the whole dialogue wheel and going around and conversating with people. Before then, video games to me were this thing where I just would charge through and just shoot everything and just try to make it to the next level or just try to beat the game. I never felt really that invested or that immersed in a story of a game. I had games when I really liked playing, and I really liked, oh man, this is fun to shoot them up and do whatnot. And I played a lot of sports games, but man, it was just something about this game, just going around and just conversating with people and just having all these options in the conversation and meeting different people and learning about the world. And it was fun. To me, that part of the game, conversating and dialogue with people, was funner than actually going around and doing combat. It was different. And Mass Effect just hit me different than any other game that I had ever played up until then. I must have played through that game so many times. I would play through, get to the end, and start it over just to pick different options. I'm gonna romance Ashley this time, or I'm gonna romance Liara this time, or I'm not gonna romance anybody this time. It was just fun to conversate and learn about the world. I mean, that codex, I mean, you could spend hours listening to codex entries. It was so rich with, you know, all this lore and everything, and you just wanted to learn about it, and it was fun. Mass Effect, that first one was just, it was so fun to me. And you know, like I said, I played through that game so many times. It's the one that I played through the most. I mean, mainly because it's the first one that came out. 2010 comes around, and I'm still working at the mall. I'm still stopping in GameStop, and Mass Effect 2 is coming out, and I pre-ordered it. When they had the midnight release, you had this long line of people in the mall. The mall shut down, but GameStop was still open. And I'm driving around on this scrubbing machine it's like a Zamboni, you know, that goes around in a hockey ring. I'm driving around scrubbing the floor with this long line of people. I hop off this thing and I jump in line, and everybody's kind of like looking at me like what's this dude doing? Like, hey man, I work here, but hey, I'm a fan. I'm ready to get this thing on. The very first time I played through Mass Effect 2, I didn't like it as much as the first one. But the more times I played through that game, eventually it was like, man, this game is better. I like it better. It may not be the RPG game that the first one was, but man, this game is amazing. Recruiting all these characters for this suicide mission. Jack, Grunt, Thane was a really interesting character. Garrus was back. I love talking to Kelly Chambers in the second one. I liked her.
You're more than just my commander. You're my friend.
And that's one thing about Mass Effect. It's like when you play it, you just feel like, it's almost like you feel like you're friends with these characters, even though they're fictional. And in a video game, you just have an attachment with these characters. When the third one came out in, was it 2012? I actually didn't play it when it first came out. I didn't play it till like a year and a half later. I really wasn't playing games that much. I was doing other things. So I didn't get to Mass Effect 3. But I remember seeing things online where everybody kept talking about how disappointing the ending was. But when I played the game, I didn't get to experience the ending that everybody else did. I didn't play it until that extended cut came out, you know, with the different, you know, the extended ending. That's the ending that I got. After playing it, it was like, man, I'm playing it over and over again, and I'm playing through the whole trilogy over multiple times. I've held off playing it for a few years. I can't remember the last time I played it. When they announced the Legendary Edition coming out, which should have came out a long time ago, you got all these other games that have been remastered. Some games I felt like weren't even worthy of a remaster. Like, why is this game coming out, but Mass Effect Trilogy isn't coming out? Like, why isn't that came out? You know, we got Andromeda, which I was excited for and was a little disappointed. It was underwhelming. There's a lot of things about Andromeda that I like. The combat is amazing. Jumping around with the jetpack and just, you know, all the different loadouts you can have and the different weapons, and I love that part of the game. But the parts that were disappointing were the things that made the other games so good, like the characters. In Andromeda, the characters weren't really that interesting. The world from the original trilogy, you know, this galaxy and universe is so interesting. All this lore and stuff, and you just want to learn more, and then you go off to Andromeda and all of that stuff is gone. I don't think it was a terrible game, but it ain't not even close to being on the level of the original trilogy. I'm excited to get back into this, and it's actually exciting seeing all these videos come out where people are talking about the games and sharing their love for the games. There's a whole group of people that have never played Mass Effect before, and I hope they pick it up, and I hope they enjoy it as much as I do. I love these games. The second one is my favorite out of the three, and then the first one, and then the third one. That's the order that I go in. In the DLCs, man, the Lair of the Shadow Broker, Omega, oh, and that Citadel DLC is so good, man. Like I said, man, I hope new players, new people to the series pick it up and they enjoy it like I do. And man, just remember, in the second game, upgrade your ship or you're gonna regret it. In these games, go around and talk to people. Talk to whoever you can. Constantly conversate with these people. It's gonna help you out, man. Trust me. That's my advice to new people to this series. Mass Effect is tight, man. I like it a lot, and I enjoy it a lot. Yeah, I even got the N7 tattooed. I can't wait to start playing the game that's gonna trigger that nostalgia. Walking around in the Citadel, hearing that music in the wards, it's gonna hit me, man. It's gonna hit me like, all the memories. Thanks for watching if you watched, and I should go. Shepard.